Did you know that the devil hates you and doesn't want you to make progress on your spiritual journey? He employs his demons to try to discourage you and get you off course. He doesn't want you to fulfill the destiny that God has for you because he knows the authority that you've been called to walk in, and it's a threat to his kingdom. Now, this might sound kind of heavy, but it's a reality that you can't afford to ignore. There is a battle going on in the spiritual realm. Ephesians 6:12 says that our struggle is not against flesh and blood, but against the rulers, against the authorities, against the powers of this dark world, and against spiritual forces of evil in the heavenly realms. And 1 Peter 5:8 says, "Be alert and of sober mind. Your enemy, the devil, prowls around like a roaring lion looking for someone to devour." Now, you don't need to live in fear or obsession about what the devil's up to, but it is important to be alert. If you're aware of the spiritual symptoms of attack, you will be able to resist the devil and overthrow his plans more quickly. Some of these signs of attack include less excitement about spiritual things that usually bring you joy, or feelings of being overwhelmed, hopeless, confused, or depressed. You might feel physical fatigue or loss of strength. Your resources might be under attack. You might have a stronger temptation to go back to old habits, or you may have a desire to withdraw from godly friends. If you're experiencing any of these things, take a deep breath. I'm going to share 7 tips with you to overcome. Number 1, the first thing that you need to know is that you have what it takes to win. Jesus already accomplished victory through his death on the cross, and you have everything that you need for a life of godliness. Number 2, you need to ask for prayer. You don't have to be a superhero. Find someone that you trust and ask them to stand with you. Number 3, increase your prayer time and consider fasting. Going on a fast can help you suppress the flesh and get your spirit properly aligned. Warfare so strongly affects our mind and our emotions that fasting can help us get breakthrough for right perspective on those areas that are under attack. While fasting, be sure to set aside adequate time for prayer and spending time with God, because that is where the breakthrough happens. Number 4, praise and worship. When you genuinely exalt God, it causes the enemy to scatter. He hates it. When we focus our attention on God, it takes our mind off of what the enemy is doing. Whatever you focus on, you empower. When you exalt God and declare his goodness, it allows the atmosphere to be filled with his presence and glory instead of that despair and heaviness that you've been struggling through. Number 5, stand on the word of God. Pray it and decree it. Write out inspiring verses and post them where you can see them throughout the day. Meditate on them and speak them over your life. Number 6, disempower wrong mindsets. Hopelessness, fear, negativity, despair, and victim mentalities have to be uprooted. So much of spiritual warfare takes place in the battlefield of the mind. Ask God to help you identify your wrong thinking and help you change the way you're seeing your situation. Finally, obedience. Often God will give you a breakthrough by giving you direction. He knows what you need in order to shift out of the place that you're in, so be careful to follow his promptings. Ask him to speak to you in a way that you can follow so that you can follow his trustworthy direction. As you're going through warfare, remember that God turns all things for the good of those who love him and want to be used by him. He will turn your trials into something beautiful. In the end, you'll be stronger, you're going to have greater endurance, and you're going to understand your spiritual authority in a greater capacity. Don't despair when the enemy tries to come against you. He knows that you have great things ahead of you, and that is a threat to his kingdom. But you will always overcome with Jesus because he's already secured the victory, and through the difficulties, you're going to be more like him.